ARP application for Public Works, and we can just put the soccer complex in.
Well, I was thinking you do that under old business, because that's a different thing than the public works stuff.
There may be more.
From Wall Street. She's gonna check.
Okay. Okay, you all got us on?
Do
Okay,
that
we are
under
gonna call the meeting to
presentations.
order. It is Tuesday, October 11th, 2022. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. One and one.
Okay, minutes and reports received and filed.
I have the sheriff's September 2022 fees, and I have the treasurer's September reconciliation report.
Okay, Commissioner Committee Liaison reports, upcoming meetings and events.
Yeah, an HBA board meeting this afternoon, planning commission meeting tonight, solid waste management district board meeting tomorrow. HBA general membership meeting tomorrow night. Quarterly reports are due on the 15th as well. Got the soup and chili cook-off at the health department Thursday.
Yep.
All righty. And state of the city county Friday.
And it is black tie
And
optional.
Optional. Scared me when you said that. I was about to- And then somebody's birthday Saturday. I can't read that name very good on there. Sam somebody. Gonna be 39 again.
Yeah.
You and Harry have close birthdays. We should have a birthday month for y'all. I mean, it's just an idea.
No, no thanks. Mine was September.
Oh, different month, okay.
Yeah.
Very close enough, though.
I have a meeting with Doug Reese at St. Martin's. He's going to give me a tour of St. Martin's this afternoon. Let's see, 4:30 this afternoon is a J.C. Chamber Past Chair event. Wednesday, Salute 23 board meeting. Thursday, I'm going to go to the MAC West Central event in Sedalia. And Friday, as Jeff mentioned, the city county.
I'm good until Thursday. I think we've got traffic and safety
Yeah.
in the morning, soup day, then I've got a USS Missouri meeting at 3 p.m. And then there's a public school foundation gala that night. And Saturday, IC Knights of Columbus is having a barbecue at the Old Gerbs. And then Monday, we're doing flu shots right here. So that's all I've got. Okay. Any commission comments?
You want to do Jennifer next?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I got her right here.
Oh,
Jennifer
there
from
you
Wall
go.
Street. I figure it'll make us feel good if we get money right off the bat.
She was,
Yeah.
she was stopping by, so I asked her to just stay for the
Yes.
meeting and present
See, Jeff?
to you guys.
See.
I never
Didn't know if you heard her.
You guys
Yeah.
had a safety dividend check for 2021 for $20,369.92.
Nice.
Yay.
Very good.
From MEM, the workers' comp carrier, it was the safety program.
It's supposed to be made out to my middle name, Cash.
Yeah, you guys had a really good safety year, so keep it up.
Driving, not so much. Yeah, you guys don't carry that insurance. I know you're smiling about that one.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
You're very welcome, thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Good seeing you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will go right into bids and contracts. Approval and signing of EMPG grant for fiscal year 2022.
Speak up, I
Morning.
can't hear you. I have our EMPG documents. So EMPG is the grant which helps us with salary benefits and then some of our budget.
Did you get that revised from the one that you sent us before? The one that's attached to the minutes has got
That
a
was
bunch of
the,
blank pages.
that was the application that was attached. So the first form should be what I provided you, and then the application was on the back of that. I didn't bring the application with me, but I did send an email to our coordinator at SEMA to get that revised, to get that corrected.
Okay, because I know it had something in there about the deputy director, and we do not have a deputy director at this time, so that
Yeah,
needs
the-
to be changed.
The reason why that's in there is you kind of have to predict the future in certain parts. You know, we had the changing also of the auditor's office, and so that's why there was some confusion as to the email and everything there. And then, of course, I had to put some sort of date for start.
Okay, I'm good with it.
Okay.
Just to be clear, so when it mentions in the application a hire date of 8/1/22 for a deputy, well, that hasn't happened.
Right.
So,
Right. Because of supplanting, we couldn't do that until the grant was received. And I anticipated us getting the grant much sooner, as we're, to the end of our first quarter of the grant. We're just about to
Yes.
start the second quarter next month.
since this is a state issue that comes to us, we're on the state's fiscal year with respect to this grant, right?
Currently, that was not historically how it was, but that is how it is now, yes.
Okay, so this runs out 6/30 of '23?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I had the questions about the auditor
Yeah.
hiccup and the deputy in here. But if it's not in here, I mean, if it is in here, but it's not hired, it just doesn't, there's nothing to get reimbursed for.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
I'm good.
Okay.
Just- These are just copies, is that right?
Those came from SEMA.
They're both the same
Yeah.
document, though.
All right.
Two copies.
I'll make a motion to sign the subrecipient award with SEMA, Cole County Emergency Management Agency.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We will go with approval and signing of annual maternal child health services contract from MODHSS.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It seems that this is our just contract renewal for the Maternal Child Health Services contract. This year, again, we'll be focusing on safe sleep between this and our Safe Crib program. We're trying to reduce the number of infants that pass away because of unsafe sleep conditions. So there's no increase in the contract from last year.
Okay. Y'all good? I know we looked over it and Jill looked over it as well, so.
Yes.
Make a motion to approve and sign the annual maternal child health services contract with Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Discussion of health department doors.
So I think I originated this request because the way that the health department doors work now is if someone needs assistance, like they're in a wheelchair or have a double stroller or something like that, they push the button and we have two doors that open towards them. They get into that little vestibule, they have to push the other button and the doors open toward them again. And it seems like some of our clients are coming in bigger and bigger wheelchairs, or like I said, they have double strollers, and they're struggling with the doors. The one door, when it opens, I think it's about 34 to 36 inches. So like I said, the bigger wheelchairs that have the big trays just don't fit well. And then if you have an aide pushing them, they're trying, this door doesn't open automatically. They're trying to push the button. The next door is trying to open while the wheelchair's there, and the other door is hitting them in the behind. So it's a struggle to get through that small vestibule with two sets of doors. So Greg had Brady's come over and give us a couple quotes, whether it's, you push the button and all four doors open at one time and then people can just go on through, or We talked about having like a stationary panel on this side and having one bigger door that opens, like 42-inch maybe, that way, but anyway, we were talking about, and then like Jordy suggested, maybe we should just put a new one on the outside and take that second set off. So you just have one door to deal with. I guess there was some, we're worried about maybe heating and cooling, but that little vestibule should help some. Or, maybe we leave that second set on and just prop them open, but put one new door on the outside. So we're just trying to make it easier for our clients that have special needs to get in and out of our doors, because it's a struggle right now.
It's really strange, because those are the doors from Capital Region and from Community Health Center. And you would have thought that, they would have had the same issues, but
We have a lot of clients that come from like the group home to get their TB skin test. So I don't know if, they had the same clients, or maybe the wheelchairs are just getting bigger, or, double strollers
Yeah.
with WIC, it's just,
Well, the vestibule area is just not very big.
right.
So, and then had opportunity to talk with Greg about it this morning. He just got back. He's been out for a week, so that was the first time he saw it. So I think this morning we just need to give direction on if we're gonna look at just replacing the exterior door and either removing the interior doors or being able to prop them open so that you could just have straight access in, which I don't know if I wanna remove the doors unless there's an easy way to do that so we can put them back on if we change our mind. I'm okay going with that 42-inch door and the side light. I think it makes more sense to have a single door to go in there. I think it's gonna be more secure. The doors that we have out there, I think we've had some problems with those, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to go ahead and replace those. But I don't think he got any idea on pricing for just that single door, so we might need to go back and revisit that.
Right, yeah, quote number 4 says like two single door, 3 to 6 in, and it was total is 15. So I would imagine it would be like half of that if we just wanted to replace one.
Yeah, we're not mentioning any prices or anything in
prices.
case we have to
Yeah.
bid this.
Yeah, sorry.
but yeah, maybe,
We're just
property
thinking
them
ideas.
open. If we would get some really, really, really cold weather, we might want to close
Mm-hmm.
those inner doors again, just so.
So leave them on and then.
Leave them on, but just prop them open would be the easiest. But yeah, we need to address the outer door.
And it's a good time to do it because All Systems has been there running the wires for the badging, and they were talking about the way our front doors are now. It's gonna be very difficult for them to do because the one doesn't have a latch at the bottom, and one door with a side light would probably be easier because then it's just one lock for the badging system. So do you want us to go back and ask for a quote for
One 42-inch door for the outside door
Okay,
with the side light.
okay, we can do that.
Yeah, you need to think about which way you want it to swing, and there'll be some changes to get with Greg on that, or Jordy, or whoever.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
Just stay there, Christie, we'll do you on the approval and signing of contract amendment for MODHSS Show Me Healthy Women contract.
Sure.
And then we got you done.
Thank you. So they gave us an increase. I think the previous contract was for either $2,500 or $3,500, and they've increased it to $5,500. And this just reimburses us if we have women that are uninsured and we send them to JCMG for services. We reimburse them. So it's a pass-through contract.
Good?
Mhm.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve and sign
Better read it to him or give it to him.
the amendment for the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services Show Me Healthy Women contract.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Didn't know she was gonna share.
Okay.
Sorry.
Approval of signing of revised development agreement, the Cole County Multimodal Transload Facility.
So we did the original agreement with Capital Land Investment and Capital Oil Terminals on August 23rd of this year. And after that was completed, we found a few things that we need to change. One item, the monetary contribution from Capital Land Investment was incorrectly shown as $200,000. It should have been $175,000. The 200 just got in there incorrectly through a few iterations of drafts, so that needs to be changed. And then two items that came a little bit later. The Capital Oil Terminals will have to apply for and receive a special exception permit from the city to operate their facility within the current M1 zoning. We will also have to do the same for our transload facility. Both entities will have to do this. And they wanted a right of reverter, and I'll let Jill explain that if you need that, in case Capital is unsuccessful in obtaining that permit. So that clause is in there. And then also, they wanted to add in easement rights to go across the property they're going to transfer to the county for the facility to access other parts of their property. So 3 changes, and in working with Jill and legal staff for Capital, it was determined that we would rescind the previously approved agreement, vote to rescind that, and then vote to approve the new agreement that is labeled Substitute Development Agreement. So you should have had those in your packet. Do you have any questions about the process or what we've changed?
Nope, I don't have any questions on it.
Okay.
David, are you here to see
He
what's
is.
going on this?
He's on
He
the
is-
next agenda.
he
Oh,
is-
I'm sorry, okay.
He's next.
All right,
My hero.
all right.
So we need 2 motions and
I-
one to rescind, I guess.
Yeah, I would make a motion to, a motion to rescind the previous development agreement for the Cole County Multimodal Transload Facility.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And a second motion to adopt the revised development agreement for the Cole County Multi-Transload Facility.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now, approval and signing of professional services contract with Mid-Missouri Regional Planning Commission. Mr. David Bach.
So as we've done with other grant projects in which Minimal RPC has helped with, we've done professional services agreements for them to administer, basically handle the grant administration's items. Pretty involved, especially in this case with this project, working through EDA. There's quite a bit involved with that. And so they've already been on calls and working kind of already in advance of doing this, but we need to approve this agreement or the professional services contract in this form. Follows the form example that EDA had given us, and the amount is $20,000. So I would just recommend that we approve this with the Mid-Missouri Regional Planning Commission.
One little thing to add, as members of the Regional Planning Commission, we provide free grant writing services, project development, all that stuff on the front end. It's just because you're members of the Planning Commission. On the backside, when we're successful with assisting with the grant, it is helpful for us, for our budgets, to keep our doors open to be selected as grant administrators on these, so.
Considering you found us thousands of dollars worth, more than what that 20,000 is, I don't have any problem with that.
We have to have somebody administer it anyway, so.
And the grant pays 50% of the cost, so.
Yeah.
It's a very good value, the relationship we have with Midmo RPC, and then having them do this, it just keeps the core team together and keeps everything in check, so very good value.
Good?
Yep.
All right, I'll make a motion to sign a professional services agreement with Mid-Missouri Regional Planning Commission for $20,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, approval and signing of
Thanks,
impact
David.
life contract.
Morning.
Good morning.
So this is the tabled contract from, I guess, like 3 weeks ago regarding supply of our blood products. So Impact Life is a not-for-profit independent blood bank who will sell us blood products for administration to our patients in the field. This is pretty cutting edge for pre-hospital care. We'd probably be the first service in the region to implement this capability, and it's very important given the lack of trauma centers here in Cole County. So this is just an agreement to allow them to sell products to us. Products will be sold to us on a case-by-case basis, and basically we've just accepted to take this out of our medical supply budget just like any other medication. So it's roughly $325 every time we need to purchase products from them. We anticipate doing that about once a month, so really a light cost and no associated cost up front. Just need to sign the contract for.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve and sign the Impact Life contract for EMS.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys keep busy on the weekend, so with all the football games and
We keep busy
Special Olympics and,
We keep busy all the time.
Accidents,
pardon?
the accidents that's been occurring here.
Just to bring that up, we are trending to see another increase of calls for service by about 1,000 this year, which would push us over the 13,000 call mark. Looking at the data from 2019, we were about at 9,000 calls. So that's a 4,000 call increase in roughly 3 to 4 years. So that is booming growth for us, and we're looking to see how we may need to change some operations to absorb that. But the good news is we'll have a nice new station downtown with lots of new room, so.
I kept Eric on his toes on a holiday by sending him an email. I think the title subject was, what was it? Incident?
Yes.
Yeah, EMS incident. But it was a thank you for someone we know who was involved in an accident and the excellent care they received from the team, and I wanted the team to know about that, so.
Yep. We'll make sure they hear about it, and we're always happy to have positive feedback, so thank you.
If you want to keep him excited, you just send an email saying incident.
Well, you know, it's 50-50 on what type of email it's going to be, so.
I think more often than not, it'll be positive.
Well, we certainly
We
hope so. We certainly hope so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. Okay, do we have any unfinished business? Okay, new business, accounts payable review.
I'd ask for approval of accounts payable pending review.
So yours is gonna be on this, that's right, okay. I make a motion to approve accounts payable upon review.
I second.
It may not be, just because
Oh.
we're doing credit cards.
Oh.
We do those every 2 weeks, so we may get to do it again next.
Okay.
All right.
Alrighty.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay. Jackie, Assessor's Office to present occupancy, natural disaster, and E&O. And Mr. Tom.
Good morning.
I sent out an Excel sheet that had 3 tabs that had the occupancy, natural disaster, and E&Os. Anybody has any questions?
I thought it was pretty straightforward. Even figured out the code for, there's like 3 different things could have happened. Did you, there could have been a fire, a blah, blah.
Tornado.
But is that all under, is there a code for a natural disaster and another code for a fire and, or occupancy, or?
I just put it under natural disaster. And
Okay.
this one was a fire.
Right, all right. I had no questions. I was able to read the schedule, and it all made sense. The date sequence, you had them in date sequence order, I think.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
When they're picked up.
I'm good with them.
So do we adopt that or approve it? Is that what we do here? Or acknowledge receipt of it?
Did you get?
I didn't bring
the
mine
Excel
with me.
sheets? I sent them to Chloe. You don't, okay.
If you're changing
I'll make a motion to accept and adopt the Assessor's Office present occupancy, natural disaster, and E&O schedule.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Okay,
copies of that?
You just sign.
Okay.
okay.
That's
But
the
do we need a
second.
copy of all the other stuff that was emailed to us, the clerk's office? We'll probably need a copy of that.
Yes.
Do you have copies of what you emailed to us, or you have a copy? Because it wasn't attached to the minutes.
She'll get it. Signed.
Okay,
Okay,
very good.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, jail interview room recording. Sheriff,
So,
you look really pink as your color.
breast cancer awareness.
I know.
So, we've been in our facility for 11 years, and we've had some issues with our recording. We've already had some issues in the detectives' interview rooms, and you all allowed me to spend some money to fix that. I think it was either last year or the year before. And that's working good. Now we're having issues in our interview rooms down in the jail, in the secure facility. So we would like to upgrade those and take them off the current security envelope. It's going to be about $14,297. It's through the Jasper County Cooperative Agreement. So we'd be going with a current contract right now with Turnkey Mobile here in town. So I would like your permission to go ahead and move forward and use contingency money to be able to pay for this and move forward with it.
Yeah, you had talked to us about that. I'm fine.
Yep, I'm good with it. So it's just, do you have a state contractor or something, or just the
Yes.
okay to?
It's a contract with Jasper County. Actually, we're piggybacking off of Jasper County current contract right now that they utilize to do the same thing.
So is it a replacement or?
Yeah, it's gonna be a replacement. We're gonna get it off of the current security envelope.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the jail interview room recording replacement.
Second.
And Brian approved it, so I'm just, since he's
Oh,
not here, I'm gonna throw him
I-
under the bus.
He's just a rubber stamp man.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, increase in part-time patrol deputy from $16.64 to $20.
I don't know how we got
An
to
hour.
1664, that number, I have no idea how we got there, but, so what we want to do is increase them to $20 an hour to try to get, we have 2 right now, part-time, we'd like to get that back to 4. In our budget right now, we could do this right now and not affect our budget at all, and in our budget for 2023, we've already put the money in there to keep it at $20 an hour. We were gonna wait until the budget time, but if we could get those guys online, I think it would help us with our overtime and help on the weekends, because they work every other weekend. So it'd help us on the weekends and allow some of our staff to take some time back for vacation and holiday right before we go into the holidays, so.
Yeah, we talked about it, and that was one of the things that we'd be able to save on overtime, give them some money and make it worth their time wanting to come
Well-
in and do this part-time. We're not having to pay benefits on it. You
Well,
also
Nick-
have a lot of guys putting a lot of hours in, and this will give them
Absolutely.
opportunity to actually take some time off and be able to enjoy, so
Well,
they
and
don't
Eric
get
and
burnt
I,
out.
Eric and I have been talking about this, to attract people is one thing, but we also have to have quality of life for our employees. And if all they're doing is working all the time and we're not giving any time back, the quality of life's not there, and I don't care what you pay them, they're not gonna stay, because they're getting burned out. So, but yeah, I would appreciate if we could adjust that to $20 an hour.
Yeah, when we were talking about it, I was surprised you were able to find anybody to come in and do it part-time
Well-
at that rate.
I had 3, and one of them quit, but I think at $20 an hour, he might come back, and then I might be able to get a 4th one.
If you can get one more shift a week, I mean, it takes that much overtime.
Yes, sir.
That we're paying benefits and the salary. And what do we pay for overtime per hour?
Whatever.
30,
Yeah,
$30 an hour, so.
36, or, yeah,
Yeah.
so, yes.
I just think it's a good move. I don't like doing it in the middle of the year, but he was nice to me, so.
Oh! Did you bribe?
Found me on a weekday.
Yeah, I'm fine with it too.
Me as well, yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the increase in part-time patrol deputy from $16.64 to $20 an hour.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, radio cables and faceplates, monies reimbursement for new radios from ARPA.
So you guys are gracious enough to give us ARPA money to buy some of the radios, which was the huge expense. But then after they got here, then my staff came to me and said, well, we need the cables to hook them up and we need the faceplates for the cars. So now why they didn't tell me that before, that's, I'll just say it's my fault and we'll just go off of there. But I went ahead and signed a contingency, and moved some money out of contingency to pay for it. And I can't remember, one of you had brought up about ARPA, and I don't remember who it was, I apologize.
I think I might have, since thought since we were paying for the radios from the ARPA money, that why wouldn't this be included with it, even though somebody forgot it? I won't mention any names or
Well,
point out
it
anybody
stopped-
wearing a
it stops
pink
with
shirt
me,
today.
And I knew about it about a week after you guys approved it, but I already sent it in. I wasn't about to come back to you and say, oh, I need one more ARPA thing from you. But if you're saying you want to use ARPA money so I can save my contingent money, I'm good with that. So it's whatever you guys want to do.
Debbie, you have to adjust her spreadsheet again.
Only a little bit though.
I mean, what about, I'm just saying, is that gonna open the door to all the rest of them we bought for all the other entities?
I have no idea. They
No.
probably took that into account. To be quite honest. To be quite honest, they probably took that into account.
You know, I'm not gonna.
No, hey, right here, it stops right here, so, yeah.
Yeah, I never said.
Oh, you wanted tires on that car? Yeah.
Well, you
Well-
really would have thought it would
I
have
mean-
come with the cable. I mean,
That's in
EMA.
inside the county thing, so I mean, that's kind of something that it's gonna be coming from our funds one way or the other. So if it's just gonna be a pain in the butt to do that, we can do it from contingency, but I was just thinking, since it was part of the radios anyway that we did, why not just use it from that pot of money? So,
I agree.
I agree with you, Jeff. You're batting.
Jeff is on
You're
fire.
batting 1,000 today.
give me about 30 more minutes, I'll be getting angry. I didn't get my soda this morning, I was getting there.
I'm gonna get my stuff done then, and then,
Yeah.
Leave them done.
So do you need anything, any action on that, Debbie? So,
Some direction to spend that out.
Do you have a hard number for that?
I don't have it with me. It was I did a transfer, so the transfer's out there somewhere, so whatever, I think it was $5,000 or something, I don't remember.
Okay, well, we'll work with Betsy and see if there was a PO or something done. So if
Okay.
you would just approve that.
yeah, we can
There
bring
was
that
a
back
PO,
and put it on the
yeah.
business next week.
Well,
then.
I'll get that to you.
I'll make a motion that we include where'd this go? Radio cables and faceplates for the new radios and include it under the ARPA expenditure for the sheriff's department.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you again.
I like the pink badges too. I think that's pretty
Yeah,
neat.
that turned out.
Yeah.
We finally got our pink T-shirts in. I'm not gonna say his name because Bo's watching right now, but we got some pink T-shirts in that said Cole County supports breast cancer awareness, and then on the back it had Saline County patches on it. So I'm not sure how that happened, but it's being fixed, and we should have the new T-shirts here on Friday. I should be getting a text about now.
Okay. Okay. Discussion of ARPA application funding for Public Works stormwater projects.
Okay, you remember this was one
Yes.
of the budget items, and I asked Eric to come and talk about maybe phasing in or phasing out this project.
So when we put together this presentation, application, whatever you want to call it, it was kind of in response to some serious flooding we had out in primarily the west end of town last year summer, 21. And, but in areas that we knew had problems pre-existing. So we've known of these problems in the past.
Now, you mentioned, I think you said, did you say west end of town?
Yes.
It's not in the town, is it?
No, this is in unincorporated parts of the county.
Right,
County.
so
Yes.
it's, okay. It's
Nothing
county,
within-
it's outside the city limits.
Correct, outside the city limits. So if you look, the document I sent last week, and Melody attached to the agenda, has a table that shows some costs and then also some drawings. So there's 3 watersheds in question: Natchez Trace, I'm calling them Natchez Trace watershed, Apache Flats watershed, and Westview Heights watershed, all drain different directions. Actually, Apache Flats and Natchez Trace, they end and they do connect downstream of Bender Lake, but they need to be addressed separately. So we've been looking at these areas going back several years, so none of this is new issues, but it's issues that we need to correct or could correct if we had the funding to do so. The numbers I put together for analysis and design and right-of-way and construction costs that was submitted for the ARPA funding was $2.4 million. And in talking with Debbie, she asked that we maybe look at some, I think talking with Jeff too, look at options to pare that down a little bit, maybe do a partial project. So basically from the get-go, in order to figure out what we need, we have to do the analysis of the watershed and design the what we're calling detention basins. They could either be dry or wet detention basins. We have to do that in order to figure out what it's going to take to solve these issues. If we do, in my estimation, if we do everything, the full project, and again, this is based on estimates, not on engineering design estimates, it's just best case scenario, what we think, we can correct all these issues out in those subdivisions to the tune of about $2.4 million. We can knock out a major part of it and cutting it back, still knock out a major part of it, and maybe not do the full blown and kind of phase it in. So if you're looking at, and I'm just kind of rambling here, interject if you got any comments or anything. If we're looking at a scaled back project, we'd have to at least do the analysis and design, and that's estimated about $500,000. And then to really kind of hit some of the big areas and pick out some of the areas we think we can do some big bang for our buck as far as detention, slowing the water down, letting it out slowly, I think we can do that for about $700,000. So that gets you about $1.2 million, half of what the original proposal was. We do own some property in the Apache Flats watershed, part of the old lagoon area, and we could couple that. I'd have to secure easements or acquire the property, and that's going to cost more, of course. And then working through some of those issues, people may not want it in their backyard or something like that, so we'll have to work through some of those items. But we've just in looking at this and spending the time that we have over the past year, we think we can knock out a major part of these issues and for a lesser amount, and then over time supplement some of the other projects through the sales tax. So, any questions, feedback? What's your all's thoughts on this?
My thoughts is analysis and design is tough to swallow. I'm gonna need some extra sauce with that, seasoning or something. That's $500,000 and the project's gonna be, $700,000 for half of it. So is that gonna take care of everything then if we do that analysis? That gets everything planned where even if we don't do the whole project now, in the next 5 or 10 years with our half-cent sales tax and stormwater coming from it, we'll be able to do the other, $1.2 million?
Analysis and design would get you everything, look at every watershed, every part of it, and figure out what needs to be done, and then also design the basins. That would take care of everything. So that's the front end, and then you can just kind of pick apart the areas that it's determined to do as we have funds. And some of the funds, if they could come from ARPA, we could knock out some of the big ones. And the number of basins I estimated, 8, 6, and 5, it could be less than that, depending on the size of them and where they're placed, or it could be more, but they're smaller. It's really hard to say what that cost is going to be to build these, acquire the easements and build these until we do the analysis and find out exactly where they need to be. But we can't do anything until we know what it is we got to do. And right now, we don't have the funds in our sales tax stormwater funding account to do this.
The analysis and design, if we did that and we didn't get to that, would that still be viable for a lot of years? You wouldn't have to go back and redo that again?
No. And then another thing to add to this, as and this is all based on old developments in which nothing was done to address stormwater flow downstream of where the developments are. Now, of course, with our new stormwater ordinance, we can control these to where we're not adding to the problem. It's just we gotta fix the problem that's already existing.
I think we called that in an earlier meeting, maybe a year ago, sins of the past.
Correct.
Right. So I think we need to go ahead with this, and then maybe just to be a little clearer on west of town or in town, the watershed actually includes some area within the city limits. I mean, that's just the way the water, but the actual detention basins or whatever that may be constructed will in all probability be outside of the city.
Correct. Now, let me take that back just a second. There is, in the patch, it would be the Westview Heights. I believe there is a piece of ground that actually, or maybe two spots that would be inside the city limits. But for the most part, they would all be constructed outside of the city limits.
One other question, the timing, because of the ARPA money having to be encumbered by the end of '24 and spent by '26, is that a possibility with all of this and the way construction is? And
So, looking back on when we submitted this earlier in the year, we figured it would take roughly a year to do everything and have it ready to build some projects. So we can spin that part of it, and then once we know what we want to do, then we can bid out a few projects. I don't see a problem. It has to be done by 2026, correct?
right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that as being an issue. I think we can get on these pretty quick. The one thing that I'd recommend, we don't have any RFQs out to do any kind of engineering on this yet. I didn't want to jump too far into it without knowing what the direction was going to be. So maybe before we make a decision exactly on, what we're going to spend on analysis and design, get those proposals from engineering companies. We'll send out RFQs to local companies to look at this. And we could do one company doing it all, or split them three-way and allow multiple companies to do the work.
Would it make sense to do break it into the different watersheds?
Since they're separate watersheds, you don't have to have the same company doing all three.
Right.
It's an opportunity to spread some work around and allow, other companies a chance to do some work. But it could be all, we'll look at the qualifications and the proposals, and we may select one to do all three, or one to do two, and another one to do another one. It just kind of depends on how those come back.
Sure. Okay.
So what about the money coming from the sales tax then? We had proposed 3.5 million in the bridge, culvert, low water crossing stream, stormwater projects. So how much of that was going to be going out in that area to fix some of the stormwater issues? So basically I'm asking, do we have match money coming from that so we can get our ARPA money to go farther?
So where we were taking that money is we were using some of that to repair dilapidated stormwater structures, pipes and everything. We didn't really have any of that really geared towards doing stormwater detention. So we may have to, scale back a project and put it towards some of that. We may have to wait till the next sales tax round to complete, the remaining items. Or there could be some grant money to go after too. I think it could be a number of different funding streams to get that done.
I think the analysis and design would give us a better idea of what we really were going to need for construction costs. And I think I'd be okay moving forward with that, but I think the actual stormwater project should come from the sales tax. So putting $500,000 in there, and then we would basically be contributing the other 2.4 million into the projects themselves. You were asking for half of the $500,000 plus the 1.2, which would be half of the projects.
So, $500,000 roughly to do the analysis and design, and then 1.9 million to do everything, or 700,000 to do a scale back version. So the 2.4 million and 1.2, those are total combined everything.
Okay. My mistake there, okay.
I'm still fine with the 1.2 million from ARPA funds, because we need to move ahead. I have one gentleman I hear from probably every 2-3 months who, I've had some others, and I said, you know, just wait, but we need to do something.
One thing I could add is if we do some of these areas upstream, it will likely cut back on the amount of stormwater running into areas that we're currently working on having to fix. So it may scale back the amount of money we got to spend on replacement structures in areas that are needing replacement. I would expect that. To what degree, I have no idea. You really don't know. This is hydrology, and flood analysis is so arbitrary to many different factors, and you really don't know. It's hard to compare what something will be now versus what you get into when you actually do the engineering work and figure out what needs to be done. So a lot of this is just based on best guess scenario, just experience working in these areas. I will say that right now we don't have really any money to put towards it. So whatever the commission allows through ARPA is going to be better than nothing. Doing the analysis and design, at least it tells us what we got to do, and then we can work on some projects after that. It would be nice to pick off some of these key areas, especially, I'm going to just say the one where we own the old lagoon property behind Gateway Drive and by the Pioneer Trail School. That would be what I think would be an easy one to do initially. And once we do a few, we can kind of, you know, get some experience doing some, and the community knows they're coming and, you know, can be prepared for it. So I think doing a couple at least through the ARPA would be great. That way we can set some momentum going into the future and maybe capture some money that could come elsewhere through some grants or just using sales tax money, moving some stuff around there too, so.
How long will it take to do the analysis and design?
I'm saying roughly a year.
So then we would have, what, a year maybe, year and a half to spend the money on the project. We got till 26?
Yeah, we have to have it encumbered by the end of 24 and spent by the end of 26 at this point. They could change those dates.
Okay, so we'd have 2 more years to basically be doing it on the projects, because I'm thinking by the end of 24, having some kind of the analysis and design done.
I'm thinking that
Before
by the
that.
end of 23, we can have everything.
Yeah.
We can know what we got to do and start getting some projects ready to bid out.
So we'd have 3 years to do the projects then, 24, 25, 26. So what if we do the analysis and design, get where we're at, we have some money sitting there in contingency that we've got a lot of money sitting there right now. We've got it under the Pringer Center, but I mean, that's just a placeholder. And see where we're at with it. I'm just having trouble swallowing the $500,000 for the analysis and design. I'm in the wrong business apparently.
It could be less, Jeff. Like I said, I don't know because I haven't put out any RFQs because I don't know what the scope of what we're doing is yet. And so it really kind of depends on what the direction the commission wants to go with this idea of this project. I can tell you that in 21, July 21, or late June, early July, we spent every bit of 2 weeks running around looking at problems, addressing phone calls that came in for people that had had stormwater flooding issues on their property. It is a big deal. Now, we haven't had the rains since then to say, you know, it's really so arbitrary on these storms that you get. But when we do get them, it's a big deal, and it takes a lot of time addressing those issues. I know we had one water rescue down in Apache Flats during that storm, and then other areas where properties had damage. And if we do the full-blown project when it's all said and done, I'm pretty confident that we'll never have those issues again, or at least it'd be very rare, and it would have to take a huge storm for it to happen.
Yeah, I'm not saying we don't have the problems.
Yeah.
We've all got friends and family that live throughout the county, so I'm not just looking out for the east side or picking on this because it's on the west side. I'm just struggling with putting that much money, investing that much money in that from the ARPA money. I know it's one-time money, so maybe the analysis and design would be a good place to put it. And we're, maybe some of our other low water crossings may have to wait a little while to address some of these things if these are more important. That's what we gotta weigh it out and see where they stand, so.
Well, I'm still good with the 1.2 million. So you've got that, you can proceed because,
I'm not totally against the 1.2, but I'd like to see where the 500,000 goes first and what they say. If we have some low-hanging fruits that we can knock out pretty quick and easy, it makes sense to do that because it may mitigate some of the damages downstream possibly too. I don't think it's a bad idea, and we've got it's a one-time money. I think it's a good place to spend it, but how much of it is what I'm also up in the air on. So if you two are both wanting to do the 1.2, I
And
don't
they're-
have
Well-
to beat a dead horse.
Well, even if we say we want to do the 1.2, we haven't committed to it. The RFQ, when it comes back, we'll either have a sigh of relief or a OMG kind of thing, and then
Turn your
decide.
mic off.
Yeah,
moment.
Eric, just
Right.
have an ambulance stand by.
So if we approve doing the RFQ today, then that'd be the first step, right? Or do we have to?
The first step is if you approve moving forward with the project, I don't know that you want to set, okay, it's going to be this amount of money. I think you're just approving to move forward with doing RFQs, correct?
Correct, that's what I see.
And then we'll get those out within the next few weeks to the local companies. And then through the process, we'll either interview or just review and select.
Right.
Kind of like we do on normal engineering projects.
Right. We don't have to ask for a low bid situation here. We contract with a
Yeah.
reputable firm.
With engineering, through state law, qualifications-based selection, you do not bid engineering work. You select the best qualified candidate, and then you negotiate a contract after that.
Okay.
So I'd say, at this point, the application is approved and the budget amount is the 1.2, and to go ahead and give him direction to then negotiate to try to get those contracts with those engineers, and then we'll put purchase orders in the system against the ARPA money, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, the first step is the RFQ, because I say, we might say, okay, we're within the range, or we may say, my gosh, what are we gonna do? Because we can't eat this elephant even one bite at a time, or whatever. So I think if it takes a motion to send the RFQs, or we just agree to do it, what's our strategery here?
I think we can approve the, sending out the RFQs, and do we have any action for sending out the RFQs, or you just come up and get our blessings on it?
I don't think that
If we
takes
have-
an action of the county commission, only when we bring a contract to you to sign.
Okay.
I think you would just approve, make the recommendation that the county public works department begin the selection process for engineering companies to do the analysis and design work on the stormwater project, ARPA project, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's agreeable with me
Okay.
to do just exactly what you
Can you remember that?
suggested. So Dawn will be able to pick that out of the replay and, right, Dawn?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, so we're not spending any money today, we're approving, moving forward with the RFQ, and we'll go from there, right?
I think that's fair.
Yes.
That's,
Okay.
now
Okay.
we know where to go, and then we'll bring back to you what our results are, and then we'll be able to make some decisions on funding at that point, I think.
Okay.
On that same topic, we did hear back from Forbes, BKD, that money is definitely going to be in the 5 million part, because it does have its own category within ARPA for that particular type of work.
Okay.
So,
Good.
Okay. While we're on ARPA too,
Did we put a second on that?
Well, it wasn't really a
it
motion.
it wasn't really a motion.
I think we just kinda gave him our
Discussion to proceed.
We
with
gave him our
RFQs.
blessing.
Okay.
Why don't you just say the blessing?
All right, thank you.
Okay. While we're talking ARPA, I had suggested last week that we add $100,000 to the soccer complex. After we went and met with the state, whatever that board was, they made some suggestions, and I think this will help them a lot. And, you know, the soccer there's gonna have tens of thousands of young people.
One of the questions they asked was, how are they going to serve possibly underprivileged or people that can't afford to use the complex? And one of the answers was they do have scholarships that they do allow to try to get other youth to be able to use it, to be able to attend training camps and play on teams. So that was one of the things that Sam mentioned, was maybe we give them some more money and they can use this money up front, but that would free up money for them to do some of the scholarships later on.
Yeah, so.
When you mentioned that they asked question, is that the state asking questions?
Correct.
Yes, it was
The state that has.
chairwoman, she was.
Okay, it's the state that has the authority to issue credits?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
very well.
Tax credit, yeah.
All right.
And, but I think, I would like to increase our contribution to the soccer complex to $350,000.
From 250 to 350.
Yes.
Yep, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
And is the 100 allocated for scholarships then?
It really can't be, because it will free up money that they can set aside for scholarships. But our funds would have to go to, again, because we have to be done by 2026.
So they may not have $100,000 worth of scholarships by the end of '26.
All right.
Yeah.
So this could be for, they could do $10,000 worth of scholarships over 10 years, and that
Okay.
was,
They would be agreeable to make or they would indicate that that's their plan, is to do that, is to expend it for scholarships. That's why the 100,000 is being requested. That's what it's going to be spent for.
yeah, and that, you met with them last week with
Mhm, I met
Joe
with-
and
Luke.
Luke.
Yeah.
you were okay with that, then, just make sure that was fine.
Yes, I am.
I was all right with $1 million, so.
Well, this,
So,
every bit helps, but I think, they're gonna have a spring league and then a fall league, and it truly is going to have tens of thousands of people using that soccer complex, plus the Special Olympics and.
I would ask you guys just to vote on that, because you did vote on the amounts for the rest of them, so.
yeah,
If you don't mind, that was the only letter that did not get sent out yet.
I'll make a motion to increase the funding to the soccer complex project from $250,000 to $350,000 from the ARPA money.
Would you, could you include with the understanding that over time they will use that extra 100 for scholarships?
I will,
I don't think that's gonna be allowable under.
No.
Under the 5 million here that we're reimbursing them for. I think what he's saying is that would just free up in their total project some money elsewhere. But our project, the application these people made was for the actual building of it, to construct it. So if they're gonna change what their application is by adding this, then I'd say we have to send that back and get them to fill out a whole new application. Because you guys just approved a portion of what they asked for, even though it was not allowed under the 5 million. They said we could put it under your 10 million. But if we change that application in any way to.
What application are you talking about?
The soccer fields application, what
Right.
they made an application to you for.
We don't have to ask for an entire new application. If we ask them to send us a letter thanking us for our projected 250 and ask for another 100, and over time they would guarantee that it would be used for scholarships. We make the rules with respect to some of this stuff. I mean, we don't go back to the feds and say, do we need a new application? We're the ones that designed the application.
Yeah, but we took it back through ARPA and
Well, are you saying that the 100 has to be paid with other county dollars?
no.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you're just changing your amount. They asked for $1 million.
Right.
You're just changing your amount from 250
250 to 350.
350. But as far as their application doesn't change, our funding is the only thing that changes.
But it's, I think what Harry's asking for is that they can use the 100,000 for brick and mortar up front, but we just want with the understanding that this is gonna be given to them up front for brick and mortar, but
It will
we want
free
them
up.
to use it towards scholarships over.
Yeah, it will free up
Amount of time.
$100,000 that can be used for scholarships.
I'm only asking for them to go on record that over time, they will set up a $100,000 scholarship fund.
Okay, then I think that has to be two different subrecipient agreements. Because the subrecipient agreement that we've sent to everybody says it has to follow their application.
All right?
So if
Ask
they're-
them to amend their application to make it 350, 250 as previously requested, 100,000 more. All right? Well, and then they give us a letter. I don't care if it's part of the application or not, that it's their plan. I just want them on record. You know, somewhere down the road, we can look back and say, hey, they did what they said they were going to do.
That's fine with me. I mean,
So
you guys talk to it.
tell them to change their request from 250 to 350.
Well, their request was $1 million,
Well,
Well,
$1 million something.
they're not getting $1 million.
Right.
It was 1.5 million, yeah, they're not getting it. So we'll get something in writing from them.
Yeah.
I'll withdraw my motion for now.
All right.
And then once we get that added, or the addendum, just to their original one for this 100,000, we can do that. But, I mean, I agree, I think we need to have something with that understanding and just to kind of hold them to it,
'Cause
if
I
that's
just
what
think
we're
it's
gonna do it.
I think it's gonna happen a lot, and with the subrecipient agreements, because we're, you know, if we didn't fund near of what some of the projects were, so I'm afraid they're gonna change their projects. And that's not, then, to me, that's changing the scope of what we just approved. So then we're gonna have to figure this out one at a time.
You're right, one at a time.
Yeah.
So if we do something for one, that doesn't mean we're going to do it for the other dozen or so. Okay.
No, I mean, yeah, but I think what they applied for is what we should be giving them money for, yeah.
Okay.
okay,
I think we're
You
beating
just
a,
Gotta be creative sometimes.
yeah,
Black and white here.
okay.
Where?
that wasn't even on the agenda, was it?
No.
Old business.
Okay.
Okay. Signing the SURF annual contribution election form.
Okay, every year you guys have elected to pay the 4% for employees for the retirement. I think SURF made this mandatory back in 2003, and I think there was only 1 year that the county didn't pay it and it was passed to the employee. But you all have generously paid that 4% for anybody hired after 2003. So I'd ask you to do that again for the year 2023, and I'm pretty sure Mark has it in his budget proposal, because we have it in the current year's budget too.
And that 4% is contingent upon on the employee making a contribution.
Whatever they make, oh, no. No, the employees do not have to make the contribution. Basically, like the state does, we are doing it for them. You are paying the 4%. So employees have two retirement plans that are fully funded by the county. Loggers we pay, and with you guys paying that 4%, you pay SURF fully.
Without the employee paying anything.
Right. They can participate in a deferred comp if they want, and put their own money in that. But these defined benefits are fully paid for by the county.
So when SURF reports this to the employee, these account balances, they give us two numbers, two code sections, I think.
That's the deferred.
One is the deferred, and one is the 4%. Is that right?
One, the 457 is your money that you've put in.
Okay.
The other one is the 401A, that's the match money.
Well,
They're both deferred. This
What?
4% has nothing to do with that.
since this is a defined benefit plan, that doesn't show up in either one of those numbers. Okay, gotcha. All right. I'll make a motion that we sign the SURF annual contribution election form at 4%.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We're done.
Yeah, I don't don't think I have anything else.
Motion to stand in recess until 4:30 PM.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Commissioner Otto.
That's good.
Good direction.